How many of you have never been misunderstood by anybody? When I say misunderstood or misunderstanding, it's from what you said rather than what you have done or your attitude. I think all of us, sometime or other, have been misunderstood in some way or other. Misunderstanding can cause breakdown of relationships. How many of you have lost a girlfriend or boyfriend because of a misunderstanding? You can lose a job. You go for an interview, and if you're not stated what is expected, you can lose a job. And if you are in business, you can lose a business if there's misunderstanding. So, misunderstanding can be avoided only if you have an effective communication. So, communication is very important in life, both for professional as well as personal part of our life. How many of you have ever felt after a conversation or a talk that I could have done better or I have messed it up? I'm sure at least some of you, I can see some hands. I myself has felt many a times. So, and how many of you have sat through a talk? You're going to sit through today also. And after about 20 minutes, have no idea as to what he was talking about. Again, it's all points to one point of effective communication. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to make an effort to unravel the mystery of effective communication. So what are the kind of aspects that govern effective conversation? So my talk is titled today as the art and science of communication. Again, being a technical institute, I will go with the science first before I come to art. So what is the science of communication? A science of communication has got three elements. One is the sender or the speaker. It is me in our context. Two is the receiver or the listener. It is you today. And three is the medium through which the communication to pass. That in this hall, it is through the mic system. But I'm sure that unless all three of them fall in perfect harmony, the effective communication doesn't take place. You won't follow what I'm trying to say unless you're able to hear, understand. So therefore, all the three elements of the science has to be fulfilled if the communication to be effective. Now, let's take one by one. Let me start with you. If the listener is not mentally present, like I hope nobody is sleeping. So if you are physically here but mentally not present, then you will not be able to listen. It may so happen that you go to your professor, take an appointment, you want to tell him something, and he has given you time but it's gone inside, but he was preoccupied in something else. Uska man mein something else was there. So whatever you have told him, he has not registered or he has not been able to receive it. So that communication it doesn't get into the listener. And the third is that what I'm trying to tell you is not understood by you at all. It's all Greek and Latin. Again, communication fails. So when I tell my subordinates, my friends, I have a rule called never give up before 3 attempts. That means if you are convinced about an idea, or if you are sure or very, very, very passionate about an issue, and you want to take it to somebody to convince them to give a decision or take some action, you must give at least 3 tries. That is only because of this, what I told about the effectiveness of the communication from the listeners and the speaker's point of view. It is all probability when you told him first time, he was not registering at all. There were earplugs. Something else was there. Or he did not understand what you were trying to say. And more than that, especially seniors, like you have a professor who's in the class, and he's got certain ideas or certain beliefs, and you try to contest that in a class, rest assured that the professor will never agree, because the block of ego is there. Because he is supposed to be kind of much more learned experience. So it's the same applicable in case of in the defense style, if it is the commanding officer or the senior officer. In a company, the CEO. In a public forum, an idea which is contradicting the belief of the senior or superior may not be accepted. But you approach him in private, it may just go through. So it is very essential that how you approach and how you are able to communicate and penetrate the listener if you want a result. Going to the medium part. Like we all are familiar with our connectivity issue. You have a mobile, you are standing somewhere, hello, you can hardly hear what he's saying. So the network, the connectivity, so the medium can be faulty, and so the communication is not going through. You have, have you ever tried to speak to your friend in a party, or whether it's in a disc or a pub where the music is being played? So too much of noise and your communication is getting submerged in that noise. So the medium plays, either the medium can be faulty or the medium can be too noisy. Now comes the speaker, the third part of the science, the speaker. So it matters that how the speaker is able to come to you with his communication. That is what is the art of communication. The art of communication, therefore, has to be designed or understood correctly so that you will be able to deliver what you want to say in a much effective manner. Now, when it comes to the art of communication, first and foremost, you have to have clarity in your own mind as to what you want to say. Unless you are sure as to what you want to say, what we are going to do is that you have some idea, you are going to completely kind of give big stories. You yourself is not convinced, and how you expect the other person to be convinced. So the first and foremost part of the art of communication is a clarity of thought. Second is, as a speaker, you should be able to speak it in a plain, simple manner so that it can be understood by the other person. Don't do it in a roundabout manner like you are asking the extra pocket money. You go and tell your mother that I have another birthday party, I had a farewell to be attended, and all those things, without going and say that I want $1,000 more as pocket money this month. So you have to be straight. If you just hit straight, you may get the response straight. It may get repulsed as well, but at least the message has gone through. So it's essential that you speak it plain and straight. So I told you, one is the clarity of thought. You should be clear as to what you want to convey. Second is that you are able to speak plain. And the third part is, or the second half of the art, one was the clarity and coming through straight. Second part is that how you are able to establish a connect with your listener. So when you say establishing a connect, first and foremost, you have to feel that I am talking to you. Otherwise, in a large auditorium, you can keep saying all the people are sitting there and you don't feel that what is being spoken about is meant for me or it's for me. So it is not me, it is more of you. You have to feel that I am talking about something which is meant for you. So that connect has to be established. Second thing is that if you have a number of ideas, people don't remember paragraphs. They can remember sentences. Maybe they can remember catchwords. So if you have more number of ideas or issues to be spoken, speak them one by one. Give a pause, give them time for it to sink down. And you just, in that pause, you have to look at their response. A response could be a verbal response, or in my case, I can see it has to be on your face. If you are following me, I know that you are kind of understanding what I'm trying to say. So the next, the part is that you put it simple, you put it one by one, give time for it to sink in, and see the response. And the last but not the least is that any effective communicator has to be an effective listener. He has to be an effective and active listener. When I say active listener, if I am just waiting for a response from you, I should not be preoccupied in my mind as to what I should be speaking to you, rather than I should be trying to understand what you want to communicate with me and respond to that correctly. So I just put 5 things together. To be, as a speaker, as a communicator, to be effective, you have it clear in your mind. What do you want to communicate to your audience or to your listener? Second is just put it straight, simple. And Albert Einstein has said that if you're not able to explain it simply, that means you have not understood it well. This is the quotation from Albert Einstein. So if you're not able to explain it simply, that means you yourself has not understood. The third is that you have to make your listener feel that this communication is for him or for her. And fourth and most important thing is that you have to get a response whether they have understood or not. Now, in the contemporary India, in your opinion, who is a good communicator? I'm not taking an answer from you, but in my view, it is Dr. Shashi Tharoor. You have any objections or any reservations to that? He is a very, very, very good speaker. People go to listen to him, and he always speaks in a very, very articulate manner. He researches his subject well and presents it in a very, very logical manner. And the only thing which I don't stand with him is that he uses such sophisticated English. At times, even the Webster dictionary kind of editors are taken for a ride. Okay, but be that as it may, how much important is the language in a communication? How important is language in a communication? Is it important? Very important? Less important? In my view, language is only an enabler in a communication. Because how many of you are cricket followers? Okay. If you watch a cricket match, and when our great MS Dhoni was the cricket captain, he is known to be a very good communicator on ground. Okay, any field game, I used to play basketball, so in the field game, you have to see the way the teammates communicate with each other. When I was speaking about MS Dhoni, standing behind the wicket, his tapping on his legs or on his helmet, all of them had a meaning. Because other side, the bowler knew which side he wants it to be put. Or what is, just ball it a long length or a full length or a short length. These are all kind of conveyed in actions and some isharas, some sign languages. They are able to very effectively communicate without even a word being spoken. Yesterday was a very special day for lovers. And I'm sure that some of you at least would have sat together and looked at each other's eyes for a longer time. That looking was good enough or better than a love letter or a love song, because the communication there happens through just ishara, just you are looking at things. And when my kids were small, I just had to look at them. They knew very well that whether they are liking or I am liking what they are doing or they should not do it. So the communication happens in far too many ways. Ultimately, what is required is the connect between the communicator or the speaker and the receiver. I will just wind up with a small story about myself. I studied in a Kerala small village school. It was a vernacular medium school. Okay, at the age of 18 and a half, I set out to go for my SSB. And at that time when I'm going, I knew no other language other than Malayalam. So I went for SSB, I got selected, and I joined the Naval Academy, 6 months of training. The whole of training, I managed my life with monosyllables. It was yes, sir, no, sir, or I will find out, sir. This was my regular management of my language. But Kerala State follows the 3-language formula very, very meticulously. So from standard 5, we start learning the alphabets of Hindi and English. In standard 10, you have to pass Hindi and English. And 11 and 12, in those days it used to be pre-university, those classes, the medium of instruction was English. But we used to learn English and Hindi with Malayalam subtitles. Because in the textbook, when the teacher is reading, we used to write in Malayalam how it is read. So that next time when you are called upon to read, you will be able to read the thing, pronounce it correctly. Anyway, that has been my schooling. But I joined the Navy when I realized, and I heard my friends and colleagues how they speak English and how much of mistakes they are making. And I knew English better than or more correct than they. I just shed my inhibition and started opening up. In the first 6 months of my basic training, I stood 59th out of 60 in the order of merit because I used to be very quiet. But when I shed my inhibition, when I realized that it is in me, I just have to kind of just shed it off. shake it off and just get off confidently. 8 semesters of engineering, I stood first. I won the President's Gold Medal for being first in the order of merit in my batch. And my CGPA is still a record, it has still not been erased. And after that, I have traveled the world, gone to all the continents, spoken in national, international seminars, authored papers, written publications, edited books, everything happened. I'm today speaking to you, I'm speaking to you in English. And I can equally well speak in Hindi, and I won Rashtrabhasha Award also by speaking extempore for 30 minutes in Hindi. So all this thing, what I'm trying to say that communicators are not born like that. A communication is a skill that can be learned, practiced, polished, and made better. But like any other skill, all those who are sitting here, if I put all of them to a musical class, I'm sure that only 70% will be able to sing, 30% will never be able to sing. If they sing, others will run away. So similarly, like any other skill, you need to have some aptitude for this also. But if you have an aptitude, then neither language is a barrier, nor your pedigree or your school is a barrier. It is only the confidence what you need and the will to practice, polish, and go forward. So as far as communication is concerned, as I told you, language is not the barrier. It is just the clarity of thought and your ability to connect with others. Thank you.